From one of the greatest landmarks in Supercross history, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, it's the opening of the 1998 AMA Supercross season. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed bringing you the action. Hello, everyone. After a season last year with 7 different winners, 4 first-time winners, here tonight in Los Angeles for the opening round, we could see 10 riders at the gate who have won Supercross main events before. That's half the gate, David.
That's really exciting, and it's interesting to get people's predictions, too, walking around the pits. No one really knows who. I'm certainly at a loss, but after watching practice, I thought Kevin Windham looked the best, the most relaxed. I think he's a pretty good mud rider. He certainly didn't make any mistakes while I had my eye on him, but most of the focus is on Jeremy McGrath and Jeff Emig.
Yes, and during the offseason, we saw a game of musical chairs. Many riders changing teams for this season. For the second time in 2 years, the sport's most recognizable star, Jeremy McGrath, switches brands. Despite a late signing and little preseason testing time on a Suzuki last year, Jeremy had 2 wins and the sport's most podiums. This season, he's had enough seat time to get used to his new Chaparral Yamaha.
Like I said, I mean, this year I'm prepared, and everyone who's talking crap, I'm going to show them.
It's extremely rare to see a rider leave a factory team under trying circumstances and a few years later end up back with that very same team. That's exactly what happened to Larry Ward, and Ward did it the hard way, riding with independent teams. Ward's 7 top 10 finishes in the last 8 years was one of the factors leading to his returning to Team Suzuki.
It feels good. It feels like a chance to win a championship. Came pretty close for privateer teams, and with the help of Suzuki and my new teammates, I think I can win the championship this year.
Losing Jeremy McGrath at the last second in '97 dealt a big blow to Supercross's winningest brand. But in 1998, Honda was able to reach out for a 2-time winner who hasn't reached his peak performance level yet. Ezra Lusk moves from Yamaha to Honda.
All I can tell you is I'm not the #1 guy. I don't have the #1 plate, so there's no pressure for me. You know, I want to go beat the #1 guy, so why should I feel the pressure?
Mike LaRocco on a Suzuki last year reached out to Jack in the Box in Factory Connection to set up his own team for this season. Riding a Honda, Mike, like Jeremy, could become only the 2nd rider in the history of Supercross to win on 3 different brands. Also adding to the mix for our opener, there are 2 riders from Sweden, 1 from Australia, 1 from Mexico, 3 from Japan, and 3 from France trying to make the main event, including the fast GP rider Sebastian Tortelli.
99 for sure I would be here. I mean, I want to do my career here, so I just study in Europe, but I will finish it here.
David Bailey, such massive movements. I can't remember so many in recent years anyway.
Oh, me either. I think you'd have to go back to the 70s when the factory teams were enormous. We used to see a lot of shifting around then.
Big question really here tonight, starting off things. Can Jeremy McGrath now take the momentum away from Jeff Emig and regain the title that he gave up last year? Marty Reed's down at the starting gate.
Normally, if you're wearing the #2, you'd be a very happy man, but not that guy. Jeremy McGrath wants only 1 number on his bike, and that's #1. There's a disadvantage for being #2. You have to run the first heat race. He used to be able to sit back and watch the competition. He'd be able to watch the line, see what track conditions are like, and they're awful tonight. Now he's got to go first. 7 winners last year also proved one other thing, that aura that Jeremy McGrath was invincible is gone. And he knows that if he wants it back, it's got to start right now.
Thank you, Marty. Tonight we'll have 2 qualifying heats for the top 4 riders from each heat earn the advantage of transferring directly to the main event. Then they sit back and relax and watch the rest of the field move on to 1 of 2 semifinal rounds, where the top 5 riders from each get into the main event. Then there's the last chance qualifier, where the final 2 gate positions are determined, filling out our 20-rider 250 field. Let's get right to the racing now as we anticipate the start here of the first heat of 250 action. Jeremy McGrath, Ezra Lusk, Mike LaRocco, Doug Henry, Ryan Hughes, Michael Craig, Damon Huffman, Kevin Windham. My gosh, David Bailey, it sounds like a main event.
It does. Sal, this is going to be an incredible year. Gate's about ready to go now. These guys are got to be nervous. The first race of the year is
30 board.
The hardest
up
time.
And ready to go. Get nervous time, David.
Absolutely.
Board sideways. Anytime now, the gate will drop. And our first heat of action is underway. Who will get the whole shot? To the inside, Ezra Lusk. Ezra Lusk and a tribe right behind him battling for 2nd place.
Good start for Kevin Windham. Jeremy McGrath right there behind him in third.
Kevin Windham picking up some space now on Ezra Lusk.
And the four-stroke, Doug Henry running fourth. So you got four of the favorites running the top four right now.
Michael Craig in fifth place as they go over the finish line jump.
Windham takes the lead.
So Kevin Windham through the whoops.
Lusk had a lot of trouble through these whoops in practice. Went down. In fact, everybody had trouble, but I saw Lusk really back off through there after he went down. These guys haven't seen the track since practice, and the conditions right now are completely different. So they're just feeling each other out.
So the young man from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, his first year, full year in 250 action. The first 125 full-time rider last year to win a main event in 250 action. That was at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And here we go again. I think a lot of people might have thought, well, Charlotte's a different type of racetrack. Not that many corners. We got a good start, but here we go again. Out to a great start for 98.
Ezra Lusk, who had two great events in Japan, the only off-season races that he had this year. Stutters a little in that corner, but Jeremy McGrath has not been able to pick up any space on him.
You can see the ruts right there coming out of that corner. They're not as deep as the one in that first corner. That's going to get deeper and deeper. Good style by Windham right there. He jumped up on that double jump.
A
lot of balance.
Walking.
Takes a lot of balance. You can guarantee these guys are going to make mistakes, and he's over the triple. And Ezra follows him.
Windham looking great through the whoop section. A little fishtail.
First four riders cleared the triple that time, Art. The crowd's reacting to it. Looks like Windham now starting to pull away just a little bit. These first three riders starting to string out, and like I said, they're feeling each other out. The track's completely different, and if you get too close to the guy in front of you right now, you get sprayed. So if you stay back just a little bit, stay in contact, you save your vision for the later parts of the race.
So it's Windham, Lusk, McGrath, Henry, Craig, and Mike Brown. Mike Brown looking very good in his first American appearance for a full-time season this year after riding in Europe last year. Oh, their crowd is going crazy as Ezra Lusk did the triple. Jeremy McGrath did not.
And behind McGrath, the crowd goes nuts again as the four-stroke, Doug Henry, clears it. It's the first time these guys have been able to do the triples all day.
Oh, exciting action here in our first qualifying heat. We'll be back as the race for the checkers continues.
Henry over
Number
the
19,
triple.
Doug Henry. He won 2 wins last year on the two-stroke, one of them right here in round 2 at the Los Angeles Coliseum before winning that historic 4-stroke at Las Vegas. Let's get out of Marty Reed.
Yeah, guys, you were talking about Doug Henry and the 4-stroke. Remember, he's only run. He's in the rain in this thing, and that was at Mount Morris, and it was a dismal affair for him. And the big thing is he looks like he's putting a move on McGrath right now and taking over third place. They weren't sure how this machine was going to react. And David, one of their concerns was the engine brake, and I know you can explain it probably better than anybody.
Well, there's so much compression with that 4-stroke that, yeah, you get great traction, but when you let off the power, all that compression almost acts like a brake. So the slicker the track is, that could fishtail around a lot going into the corners, but it's a lot tackier now than it was in practice, so I don't think it's a problem for him, and he just made the pass on McGrath.
Doug Henry has passed Jeremy McGrath.
Anything can be happening right here. We don't know for sure with McGrath. What he wants to do is make the main event, but definitely put a better result in the books than he did here last year, and he's doing that just by playing his cool. He may need to make some adjustments to the bike. His arms could be pumping up. You don't really know at this point, but you can bet one thing. McGrath will be there when it comes time.
There you see it. Windham, Lusk, Henry, McGrath. The top 4 would make it into the main if something happens to Michael Craig.
Jeremy knows he's got a pretty big lead over 5th, so I don't think he's too concerned. Maybe messing up his concentration a little bit. Seeing the leaders get away and having Henry catch him, maybe he's going to learn a little bit from Doug and be able to use that on those guys in the main event.
Boy, last year's 125 Western winner, Kevin Windham, is looking so smooth as we go back to Ezra Lusk, number 3. His first ride on a Honda in AMA Supercross.
Through that whoop section, Lusk has definitely picked up the pace. He's not letting Windham get away, and Windham's having to deal with some lapped riders now, and that can be to the favor of Lusk. Anytime you're in second, you can take advantage of a situation. Lap riders don't know the leaders are coming around at times, and sometimes they make the wrong decision and mess you up. Lusk could take advantage.
And back in the pack, Ryan Hughes is trying to make a move on Jeremy McGrath, as well as Michael Craig.
This is the side of the racetrack where Lusk always gets close. They're close right now. Believe me, Windham knows he's there. They got a long way to go before they catch up to any more lapped riders.
So some great racing already in our first heat, with the top 4 riders advancing to the main event. We've got Windham, Lusk, Henry in that order, with McGrath in 4th, Craig in 5th, Rocco in 6th, and Brown has moved back to 7th.
You can see that rut coming out of the corner there. Windham had to keep his balance through there, one leg off, acting like a counterweight. You have to jump the double jumps, sometimes sitting down with the feet off the pegs in those ruts. The balance and the strength of these guys is just unbelievable. It gets better and better every year, and the tracks get a little tougher too.
Boy, Windham's got the line through those whoops, doesn't he? As he takes the big gouge as he now goes up the chute to the peristyle. Mike Gosselaar is his new mechanic. Mike Gosselaar, of course, the longtime mechanic of Steve Lamson, has moved over to wrench for Ezra Lusk, number 3, right behind Kevin Windham.
Lusk still right there, this time even a little closer.
Henry still in 3rd, McGrath in 4th, with Mike LaRocco, who likes to finish strong, in 5th. Look out, we might have a race for the last qualifying position here in heat number 1. There's Ezra Lusk right behind Windham.
Getting close. There's that rut again. Windham a little bit better balance down these straightaways. He's made less mistakes. But Lusk is starting to find his rhythm. He's getting more relaxed now.
White flag. 1 lap remains. Can Ezra Lusk take the checkered flag away from Kevin Windham?
Absolutely. He's right there within striking distance. Lusk is usually strong through the whoops, but today it's been all Windham through there.
Windham doing a good job of those whoops, though. Slows up for the big whoop at the end before the rut. Now Ezra Lusk as they go up the peristyle.
Trying to keep that front end down. You can see him feathering the clutch, so he didn't have to let off the throttle. These guys ride with their finger out there on the clutch the entire race, make their own power. His bikes hit so hard that if they just let the bike hit, sometimes it hits a little bit too much, and they slip that clutch out there to make exactly the power they want.
Well, by now the butterflies are gone as these riders entering the first round of competition in the year of 1998. Lusk to the inside. Can he get Windham? Yes, he does.
Beautiful move. Set that up way at the beginning of that sweeper. That sweeper is a new section for this year. Here goes Windham.
Windham fights back, and Windham goes down. Ezra Lusk, he gets up in time and goes on. Can Windham, though, hold on to a qualifying position?
These guys
Henry is in 3rd. Can Henry catch up to him?
The lead these guys have is amazing. I think Windham will get going before he does.
Here comes Henry as the checkers goes to Ezra Lusk. Still, Windham just restarts, but he can't get by. Henry passes him in the rhythm section. So Doug Henry moves into 2nd place. Kevin Windham in 3rd. Jeremy McGrath still in 4th. And an exciting finish to our first heat of action. Our deck member David Bailey. Here's where the pass took place. A good dirt track move.
Well, it's a sweeper. We haven't seen many of those. That was the pass on the inside. Windham tried to cut back to the inside right here. Lusk came in there, hit his back tire, and Windham wasn't able to continue that arc through there. Had he been able to, he wouldn't have gone down. May have made that pass stick, but
Kevin was able to get up and restart just in time, though, to qualify. Lusk, Henry, Windham, and Jeremy McGrath get the transfer to the main. Let's go to Davey Coombs on the winner's podium.
Okay, thanks, Art. Hey, Yogi, we just watched that pass. Tell me, were you setting that up the whole moto?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd get close to him on this side of the stadium, and then for some reason I couldn't make it stick. I would lose time a little bit right there, and I wouldn't be able to make the pass. And I knew that last lap I had to stay on his butt as hard as I could and be there when he went to the outside line.
So it's a great opening heat for Ezra Lusk, Jeff Emig, Larry Ward, Greg Albertine, and Jimmy Button, amongst others, coming up in heat number 2. All the changes we've made with the riders changing teams, but Emmig's team remains the same. Kawasaki, well, that doesn't mean, though, Marty Reed, that they haven't made some changes on that bike, right?
Oh, that's for sure, Art. As you can see, Jeremy Albrecht getting final words of advice to his rider. Take a look at this front handlebar system the Renthal has put together. What they've done is they've made this all one piece, and they have assured Jeff he can't possibly bend it or break it. There's also another neat little trick that they put into the bike. It's going to be hard to see, but the rear shock assembly, they have put another range of dampening, so it gives them more options. But what's really neat for Jeremy Albrecht, he can adjust it without having to pull the bike apart. That is really neat.
Things are getting easier for the riders and easier for the mechanics these days, it seems like.
The defending champion of the season last year has lots of competition here in the second qualifying heat. Only the top 4 make it. Larry Ward is there. Greg Albertine, who won this first round in Los Angeles last year. Jimmy Button, who's been riding very, very well. And we've got a foreign contingent. Mikel Pichon, Sebastian Tortelli, both from France. Mikel will be staying the entire season. Sebastian racing several races here in America before going over to the Grand Prix circuit in Europe.
Also, 917, Frederic Bollet taking over for Steve Lampson, number 9 on the factory Honda.
Lampson not at the gate, broken collarbone while working out last week. He'll probably be out another 6 weeks as the 32nd board goes up.
Good shot of all that mud packed up in the knobbies. Once these guys take off and those start spinning, it all slings out of there. That's why it's so important to stay on the gas. Keep that throttle pinned in the mud. Keep those knobbies cleaned out.
Boy, was Team Honda having a smile on their face after that first heat. Wes McCoy came into our booth jumping up and down.
They love it, but Wyndham has got to be happy with the way he rode. He knows he's got the pace.
Board is sideways. We're set for heat number 2 from Los Angeles. Emig a pretty good start. Emig cuts to the inside. Oh, he has a heck of a time. And taking over the lead is Phil Lawrence, number 24.
Sebastian Tortelli right in there, takes it away from both of them.
Tortelli goes down. And right there to take over the lead is Larry Ward.
Suzuki teammates Larry Ward and Pichon out front take advantage of this mishap. Lawrence looked like he had a great start, took advantage of Emig getting caught in that rut in the first corner, takes over the lead. Tortelli takes it back, and they both go down.
Frederic Bollet is in 3rd. So Frederic Bollet, who's over here to capitalize and learn, get some experience here in American Supercross. Emig is in 4th, going through the whoops. And it's Albertine right behind him. But number 4 right now, Larry Ward, who makes his home in Florence, South Carolina, has taken the lead here in heat number 2. Wouldn't that be something for Larry Ward? The last win, his only Supercross win, was in 1990 in his hometown then of Seattle, Washington.
And that was on a Suzuki.
He left Suzuki under very rough terms. Went to the independent teams, Nolene, as well as Honda of Troy, and got a shot back with the same team he left. That's almost unheard of.
Great opportunity, and he's taking advantage of it right now. Starting to pull away a little bit. Larry Ward, from being from back east, deals with the mud. Plus, he's pretty tall. He's able to use those long legs, keep his balance. Some of the deep ruts, it may be a problem, but they'll work the track in between the heat races and before the main. I don't think that'll be a problem for him.
It's Ward out in front with Pichon in 2nd, Bollet in 3rd, and Emig in 4th with Albie still in 5th.
Heading to that long whoop section. Pichon really starting to tighten the screws. Got a shot there of number 11, Jimmy Button, who had gotten out of control from the other portion of the racetrack, spinning around to get back on.
Button getting back up is out of contention right now. Jimmy with some excellent races over in Europe in the off-season. Went through shoulder surgery this year and feels like an entirely different rider. Koikita in 6th place. He came all the way from Japan as Ward, Pichon, Bollet, Emig, and Albertine still our top 5. Right now, we've got a close battle for first place.
Pichon really riding good. Being from Europe, every time it's been muddy, Pichon has ridden well. Doing it again here tonight, studying the lines of his teammate. Didn't get a chance to ride much last year after getting hurt here in the first round. Now we'll get a chance, hopefully, to see the potential of Pichon on a 250.
We've got a battle almost ready to go between Bollé and Emig. Emig, you see him coming to the picture now. Number 1, the defending champion. Oh, he got the broom out last year and just swept up.
Didn't go too good for him here, though, at L.A.
No, it did not. In fact, it was a 6th-place finish in the first round as he makes the pass on Bollé. And no rider has won a Supercross title and finished worse than 7th in the opener, and that was Stanton back in 1992. The race for the checkers is on here in our second qualifying heat. We'll be back with more in a moment. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Mikel Pichon, while we were away, took the lead away from Larry Ward. Emig is in 3rd. Bollé still in 4th.
Emig starting to get a little closer to this group. There you see Emig starting to get a little closer to Ward now. Ward could be suffering from arm pump. Anytime somebody gets out to a quick lead like that, the first race of the season, he had a quick pace, got a little nervous. Maybe his arms are pumping up. He's starting to fade. David
Bailey, the remarkable thing about number 16 on the Team Suzuki right now, Mikel Pichon, out in front of this qualifying heat. Who can forget that ghastly crash that he had here in qualifying in the first time? A broken leg, broken femur, sent him out for the entire season. And now he's leading here in 1998.
Oh, I think it's great. I certainly can't forget it. I've seen it enough times. I'm sure he'd like to forget it.
Oh, Bollé is making a race of it for 3rd. He almost passed Jeff Emig. As we're checking out Larry Ward in 2nd place. Bollé's really putting heat on number 1, Jeff Emig. Emig now starting to pull away, but you see into the picture now. Bollé on the Team Honda. Boy, what a substitute this is for Steve Lamson. 4 laps to go here in our second qualifying heat.
Emig coming down hard on that triple, makes a little mistake.
Oh! Jeff Emig makes the pass, taking advantage of a rider that went down. Bollé fishtailing there in the whoops.
Bollé very aggressive, makes the pass when Emig landed a little hard off the triple, but that lapped rider messed it up for him. Emig right back into 3rd.
What great experience for Bollé to make a main event here in American Supercross. Down the peristyle. They've got a launch pad there. It'll be interesting to see when somebody's really battling for the lead who takes off on that launch to make the double coming down the hill later on.
It's a little tough there because it's darker. There's shadows in those ruts. Emig starting to play it left a little bit to the crowd.
Button and Tortelli are going at it for 6th place as Pichon is still our leader with Ward in 2nd. Emig in 3rd, Bollé in 4th, and Albie is in 5th. But Bollé is really sticking close to Emig. Our leader, Mikel Pichon. What a great story this is, considering last year's tragic accident.
Clicking off some quick laps, too. He just took 2 seconds off Larry Ward's fastest lap. Now that he's got clear sailing, he's able to jump both triples. Starting to really bring the lap times down. The track is starting to work its way into great shape.
Number 16, Pichon, a 2-time 125 champion. And he only turns 22 years of age on the 13th of next month.
There's been people saying that he reminds them a little bit, and I've said it before, of Jean-Michel Bayle. Not just because he's from France, a young kid coming over here wanting to race in the USA, but his style, very smooth, very creative, takes different lines out there, gets stronger as the race goes on, good in the mud. Really not many weaknesses. I thought physical fitness might be his weakness, but he proved us wrong last year coming back after that leg injury in the outdoors in those hot races.
What a great rehab. Let's go down to the floor of the stadium and Marty Reed.
Well, you know, during the offseason, we had heard that Suzuki had found some more horsepower. In fact, they were talking about it today before the race. And this 1-2 performance so far by Pichon and Ward seems to be bearing it out, guys.
Looks like Bollé has gone down.
Yeah, the crowd oohing and awing as we were listening to Marty Reed, and Bollé went down. And so he is out of 4th place. That gives the shot for Albertine to qualify directly to the main event after our second qualifying heat. But look at number 16. Good style, despite the ruts, despite the muck. Mikel Pichon. We had over an inch of rain here in Los Angeles yesterday. It rained a little bit this morning, but this track is in fantastic shape considering the conditions. There you see Larry Ward pumping away in second place here in the second qualifying heat.
Actually, that's
Albie.
going to get these guys mixed up
That's
on the same team.
Yes,
yep.
Albertine.
Starting to really close the gap on Emig now.
Albertine coming up on the defending champion, Jeff Emig.
Last year's winner. All the focus on Emig and McGrath coming into this race. McGrath switching over to Suzuki, and Albertine walks away with the win, and he's starting to find his rhythm right now. Put the pressure on Jeff.
But like in your opening, just anybody could win this year.
It's amazing. All the guys switching teams really leveled the playing field. 118 lap times for Pichon. Consistent.
Greg Albertine, the South African who just loves living in America, just recently engaged. He's probably as happy as he's ever been as they're approaching a white flag lap. Emig getting some heat from number 7 Team Suzuki's Jeff Albertine. Greg Albertine to the inside, and Emig gets the spring over the launch and retakes the position.
Same corner where Wyndham and Lusk got together in the first heat. That inside rut runs right into the outside rut. So if you get in there close enough to the guy in front of you, you can steal the line away.
So Pichon has a monster lead on this final lap over Larry Ward. The only thing to be decided, who wants third place. And there's really no challenge for the final qualifying spot, Dave Bailey.
Well, these guys are pretty strung out right now. Remember, they haven't seen the track since practice, and the conditions are completely different. Perhaps their setup, the tire choice, suspension, it's all different. These guys are going to go back to the drawing board, some of them, before the main event, make some changes, and I think we'll see a much different battle, much different situation out there. Put all these guys together, there's going to be some serious racing.
Mikel Pichon, number 16, not only had to come back from the fractured fibula, but also had the chronic fatigue syndrome the year before and really couldn't work out. As he makes the turn, the checkers for Mikel Pichon, and 8 more riders. Or 8 riders have qualified for the main event. Davey Coombs will be talking with Mikel Pichon when we return. As we prepare for our main event here from Los Angeles, the 4 riders that go directly to the main qualifying in tonight's second qualifying heat, Mikel Pichon, Larry Ward, Jeff Emig, and Greg Albertine. Davies with our winner now.
Mikel, when you were here last year, it had to have been the worst night of your career. How's it feel to come back with a win in a heat race like this?
Well, I'm so happy you can't believe it. It's my first race in 250 this year. I mean, it's for everybody, but I've been practicing a lot. My Suzuki is working very well. I'm feeling great, and I like the track very much. I have so much fun up there, and I think it's going to pay off at the main event.
Do you consider yourself a mud rider? Because we got a really muddy track tonight.
Yeah, I like mud. I won the only GP I won in Europe that was on a very, very deep mud track. And then tonight, to me, it's not really muddy. It's just a lot of ruts, but it's something I really like very much.
While we have a break in the action, a visitor here in the broadcast booth. He would rather be down there on his team Honda, I'm sure, Steve Lampson, and what a bummer that was, Steve. But first of all, we must introduce a special guest here. Taylor.
Yeah, it's my little daughter Taylor here, and she's 2 months old now, and wish I could be out there racing for her, but I'm up here watching with her. So
the broken collarbone doesn't hamper your style in holding your baby.
No, it's not too bad. It's healing up pretty good.
That's good.
She's still pretty light, but it's still got some healing to go.
As bummer as it was, as you were getting ready for the opening of the season to fall and have a broken collarbone, it must be joyous to see at least your teammate Ezra Lusk look so good in the qualifying heat.
Yeah, Ezra's been riding really good, and you know, it's all on his shoulders right now. I feel, you know, that he can do it though, and the bike's working great, and he's riding really good. I think he can pull the win off tonight.
Well, it's good to know you're good friends and teammates as well, and best of luck in the rehab now, Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'll look back at Supercross history, then it's on to the semifinals. We got some big names remaining trying to make it into the main when we get back.
'1984, the olden days. The season opener at Anaheim Stadium always drew the biggest crowds and the biggest names in the sport. It was also one of the most nerve-wracking races of the season, and you could see it on our faces. Team Suzuki's Scott Burnworth talks things over with his mechanic. As his teammate, the bomber Mark Barnett, pulls in from his practice session. You know this is the olden days. Watch Mark. Puts the bike on the stand by himself. No one around, no mechanic, and definitely no semi. You could see it on Mark's face. All the tension. It wasn't a picture of confidence. But in the contrast to Barnett, Johnny O'Mara of Team Honda was smiling, loose and confident, despite being one of the heavy favorites. In fact, the whole Honda team looked loose and confident. Johnny's teammate Bob Hanna looked relaxed, but every time the Hurricane took a step forward, an injury knocked him 2 steps back. While I'm loosening it up, Johnson surveys the situation, and in front of a sellout crowd, gate drops for the main event, and it's a drag race at the corner between Brecker and Scott Burnworth. Burnworth, number 8 on the inside, plays it smart and comes out with the hole shot. So at the end of the first lap, it's number 8, Burnworth, followed by O'Mara, Goat Brecker, and Brock Glover. By the end of the second lap, O'Mara was around Burnworth and into the lead, while I had recovered from a mediocre start and carved my way to 3rd. As O'Mara continued to lead, I was pushing hard, made the pass on Burnworth, and started to catch O'Mara. But I was pushing too hard, and on the next lap went down, bending my handlebars, and eventually drifting to 4th. That left O'Mara way out in front with no pressure as he cruised to his first Supercross win. Grabbing the checkered flag, hands in the air, I'd won it the year before, and I knew what Johnny was feeling.
1984, David Bailey, and your best friend took it away, Johnny O'Mara.
Yep, he had a great ride. He was pretty nervous that last couple of laps.
30-second board is up as we get set for our first semifinal round.
Hey, you see the guy looking at the watch? That sign will go sideways, and between 5 and 10 seconds, that gate will drop.
We're ready to go. The gate will drop any second, and they're off. The Hondas out in front. Will they get the hole shot? Michael Craig, number 13 on the inside, but the Kawasaki, number 15, takes the lead.
Damon Huffman, a brilliant leap out of that first corner. So far what we've seen is the guy that gets the hole shot doesn't always come out on the lead. A lot of passing right out of that corner. That next little straightaway, LaRocco up in there.
Huffman winning the World Supercross title. Gives a lot of credit, of course, to his Kawasaki teammate Jeff Emig for not running the last event in Geneva.
These guys getting bad starts, having to work their way through traffic, not getting it together, having to go to the semi. Only one practice session today because of the conditions. And Pichon, he had to ride a preliminary qualifier. He won that second heat race. He got an extra little bit of practice out there and obviously helped. He was much more comfortable in that race.
There's the leader. And number 100 is knocking on the door right now. And that is Michael Brown. Michael Brown coming over from Europe after a very dissatisfying time of it on the GP circuit there. Mike Brown in second place.
I saw Mike Brown about a week ago. He's really trimmed down, training really hard. Excellent shape.
Excuse me, David. LaRocco in third. Here comes Brown. Brown had some very good preliminary warm-up races, but he gets hung up there on the corner. Huffman, Brown, LaRocco, Craig. Atsuda out of Japan is the 5th place rider.
Huffman get a little bit better line down that straightaway, starts to open that lead up again. Heading into the triple. Goes for that, no problem. Tapping the brake in the air to bring that front end down a little bit. You want to land a little bit nose low. They start off high to make sure they got over the triple. Then they pull in the clutch in the air, tap that rear brake, and when the wheels stop, all that inertia drops the front end, they land perfect.
Damon Huffman's timing looking very good. He placed 11th in the first round here last year. In a change of position now as Mike LaRocco moves in front of Mike Brown into second place.
You make a little mistake heading up that hill.
Battle. Mike Brown to the inside around the U-turn. Down the peristyle. Mike Brown took it right back again, David.
Boy, that's classic, too. Any amateurs watching this thing, that's the best way to get a guy. As soon as he passes you, he's thinking, okay, that's that. Now let me concentrate on the next rider, and you get him before he even has a chance to settle in.
Ryan Hughes is in 6th place. He will not qualify for the main unless he gets back up. And retaking the lead, Mike LaRocco. LaRocco feels great about his new machine. He's on a Honda. He's got a good independent team support.
Well, he didn't seem like he was very happy where he was. He's been wanting to ride a Honda. He wanted to finish off last season on one. Things didn't work out. Now he gets his chance.
Only 4 laps to go. We'll be right back with the checkered flag waving after these words.
Great look at Huffman, just letting that bike work underneath him through that whoop section, and I like that. He just hopped out from the last bump. He hopped out over the final. The whoop section's interesting here because they're all consistent. They're all spaced exactly the same, and then just before the last one, there's about a 10-foot gap, and then the last one's higher. He's hopping out over that. He's going to save a lot of time.
One guy that's happy that the rain stopped on the floor of the Coliseum's Marty Reed.
Yeah, another one's Damon Huffman. You know, talking to him before the day, and we talk all the time about confidence. Well, he has it right now, especially coming off that World Supercross Championship. He rode very consistently over there, and yes, he did get the break by the fact that Emig did not show up for the last race, but he still says, I'm riding good, and for the first time in a long time, he says, I'm 100% healthy.
The former 2-time 125 regional winner had 6 wins, in fact, in 1995. Damon Huffman looking very sharp. And right here, number 5 is LaRocco, 2nd place. Brown in 3rd, Craig in 4th, with Hughes trying to pull it up. White flag, though. Can he do it with 1 more lap remaining? The white flag is waving for Damon Huffman as we see Mike LaRocco, number 5, come over the finish line jump. LaRocco starting to pick up some time on Huffman.
He's picking up a lot of time. The way he jumped that finish line jump, got right down into that inside line, got right back on the gas. He's riding very aggressive right now. The last lap, Huffman didn't go for the triple on the far side, and that's where LaRocco was able to pick up some time.
LaRocco with a new lease on life. That's Huffman's mechanic, Anthony Paggio.
He knows LaRocco's got a shot at it. Holding his breath right now. I'd like to see his rider win this. Get a little confidence going into the main.
Last year, he had a late charge in the first round of the main event. Late race charge, moving up to 4th. It was a good start on the season for Mike LaRocco.
There you see LaRocco going for the triple. Huffman not doing it. Huffman's taking the far outside, to the left as we see it. LaRocco the far inside. So I have a feeling the face of that jump's filled with ruts. LaRocco's got a better look at that.
Paul DeLoria, his mechanic, trying to encourage him on here in the last lap. But right now, Huffman so smooth through the rhythm section. The checkers are out. The checkers are waving for Damon Huffman. Davey Coombs will be talking with Huffman as we'll take a look at the official final 5. 5 more riders advancing to the main event. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Out of the semifinal, big surprise near the finish line as Lance Smale qualifies for the main event. Ryan Hughes going down, so it's Huffman, LaRocco, Brown, Craig, and Smale going to the main event. And with Damon Huffman right now, Davey Coombs.
Thanks, Art. Very happy Damon Huffman down here. Damon, first of all, tell me about that starter. It looked like he's a real sneaky inside line there.
Yeah, I lined up on the very inside gate, and my heat race I lined up on the outside. It didn't work at all, so I went the extreme opposite, and I shut down a little bit early, but I came out first.
Now, I know that the track's changing a lot. Is there anything different between the heat race and the semi that you can take into the main event with you?
Well, I changed too. I rode, I didn't ride so well that first heat race, but I feel a lot better, and this kind of got me going. So, and the track is getting a little bit better too. There's a lot of deep ruts, but if they keep on working on it, it won't be so bad.
All right, we'll let you go back and get ready for the main, Damon.
All right, thanks a lot.
As we get set for the second semifinal round here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, a great crowd on hand for our opener right now. And taking a look at the Suzuki track map, David Bailey, I really like the start. We got a good shot of it right there.
Well, it's not too long, not too short, and a big, wide first corner. But what we've seen so far is the guy that gets the hole shot doesn't always come out first. And the next couple of straightaways with a lot of passing, a lot of ruts through there, then onto the finish line and into the first triple. Most of the guys getting over that clean now. The long whoop section, about 75 yards of whoops with a big one right at the end. Up and down the peristyle over to the far side, another triple, and then a big sweeper before they complete a lap back to the mechanics area.
It's no disgrace to go to the semifinals with all this talent we have this year on the Supercross circuit. As we take a look at number 11, Jimmy Button. Button, the teammate of Jeremy McGrath on that Chaparral Yamaha. And Jimmy really has been racing and practicing very well before this opener. He had shoulder surgery, as we mentioned earlier, in the off season right after the motocross at Steel City, and he says he has never dreamed of what he was missing, that the shoulder works so well right now. Let's get on to Marty.
Well, the other thing that's changed for him is his life off the track. Being the teammate now of Jeremy McGrath, and he's a close personal friend as well, it has changed his life because he's finding he's getting more requests for interviews, more requests from fans who want to get closer, of course, to Jeremy, and therefore, because he's a teammate, he is getting a lot of attention, and he says, it's kind of nice, guys.
This is what he had to say before our race time.
I'm not going to be expected to win the next weekend if I win the first weekend. So that's a great thing about it. And also, you know, being with Jeremy, I mean, anybody that would stay with that guy for, you know, more than 10 minutes is going to know he's a positive person. He really rubs off on you a great aura, really. And I think that, you know, a lot of that has happened with me staying with him as much as I have. And I think 98 is going to be a great season, both for me and him. So
30 board is up. Just about set to go in our second semifinal round. The top 5 out of this going to the main event.
And what we're starting to see now is the guys that are lining up closer to the inside. Like Huffman said, they break a little bit early. Everyone goes by them, but they all drift wide and get out into that mud. Guys that come out on the inside are able to get over that little first double jump, are the ones that come out on top.
13 riders have already made it. They've already qualified for the main event. We're looking for 5 more out of semifinal number 2. And riders don't want to go to the last chance qualifier like Ryan Hughes had to do out of that first semifinal round. Whoa, going for a hot ride right there.
Frederic Bollet off the course. He's going to have to start from dead last. And his European counterpart out in front right now.
Tortelli, Sebastian Tortelli, number 103.
European bookends to this semi number 2. Tortelli coming off a win at last week's GFI Invitational Supercross. Beat Emick and Brown in a close battle.
Out of Lawrence, Kansas, Robbie Staggs is in second place. Where's Jimmy Button? Button with a very slow start is just now going into the whoops. 2, 4, 6, 8. He's in 10th place.
He's only one position ahead of Bollet, and Bollet just went by him. So they got a lot of work to do to come from behind. There goes Phil Lawrence. He went down with Tortelli in that first heat.
Lawrence, number 24 on the Moto XXX.
Down the peristyle, no one's been able to jump that double. As you come down, there's a double jump there that's pretty much in the dark. There's a lot of ruts there. It's hard to see. No one's gone for it yet, but if you can make it, you save a lot of time.
You know, David, all kinds of history here at Los Angeles. You were one of those. Well, you were the only one to ever win in the 2 Moto Supercross format.
Yeah, I really didn't like that 2 Moto format, but I won here, and I didn't win a moto. I finished 3rd and a 2nd. Still felt good to pick up the win. However, you got to do it.
Tortelli, Skaggs, Lawrence, and Dement are the top 4 here in our second semifinal round, and we'll be right back to the race for the checkers with more action in a moment. As we rejoin the action, take a look at this down that peristyle chute.
Watch the rider in the yellow jersey trying to go for the double.
Robbie
up
Skaggs.
short. Ooh. Lucky to walk away from that one.
Wild ride by Skaggs out of Lawrence, Kansas, as we take a look at our leader now. Number 103, Sebastian Tortelli. 2 more laps to go. It's Tortelli, Lawrence, Dement, and Bollet. Bollet, what a story. In 3 laps, went from last to 5th. David Bailey.
That's amazing. A great ride. He's a little bit radical, but he's fast.
Now he's in 4th with Koikita. Takashi Koikita in 4th. White flag is out as Tortelli comes across the finish line.
Now you got to look at Lawrence. Still holding down second, but he's so far behind. Tortelli's got a huge, he can stop for a cappuccino, still have the lead.
Lawrence with Chaparral last year. His best finish was at 8th at Orlando. Got pushed off the track in the earlier action in that race, if you might remember. Did not qualify in the first round here in Los Angeles. Got off to an atrocious start, I should say, in the second round here in LA. 10 double-digit finishes in 13 races that he made the main event, topped by a 20th in Las Vegas. Now on to Tortelli, our leader.
Just going for the double there. He had a lap rider in the way. The face of that triple is starting to get badly rutted. The only guys that seem to be able to jump it are having to jump it on the far outside near the fans. There's probably one rut out there right next to the hay bales.
Whoa, Tortelli with a little fishtail. The 96 125 World Championship. Sebastian Tortelli was 7th in the second round here in Los Angeles. His first race last year in the United States. That was the 250 action. In fact, it was his only race last year for Tortelli. The checkers fly. Tortelli takes the victory. We go to the winner's podium when we come back. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Round 1 of AMA Supercross action. The semifinal number 2 just completed. Here you see it. Sebastian Tortelli, the Frenchman, taking it with Phil Lawrence, Frederic Bollet, another Frenchman, Jeff Dement, and Koi Kita from Japan, 5th. That means that Jimmy Button will be battling out with Ryan Hughes in a last chance qualifier. Let's go down to Davey.
Okay, Art, for the second time, we have a Frenchman up here join us on the podium. We'll say, oh, this guy's English is. Sebastian, congratulations on winning here in Los Angeles.
Thanks a lot. I'm very happy, I'm glad to be here because it's my first time and I'm here. There are so many people in the stadium. I'm impressed by here.
Do you consider yourself a mud rider, Sebastian?
Yeah, I'm an European rider, so I'm riding in the mud. Today was my first time in the Supercross in the mud, but that's kind of the same thing. But I think for the main, the track will be perfect and even though it was raining before.
Well, listen, we'll let you go back and get ready for the main event right now. Congratulations, Sebastian.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Davey. Let's take a look at the schedule for this year in Supercross. We go from Los Angeles to Houston, the history-making Sun Devil Stadium last year. Great crowd. Then Seattle to the Kingdome on January 31st. Back to San Diego February 7th. And then up to Indianapolis before heading south to Atlanta. Daytona on March 7th. New Orleans returns to the Supercross schedule. Then the Metrodome, St. Louis and Pontiac. Charlotte Motor Speedway, Texas Stadium with the big finale in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining us here in the booth, Matt LeBlanc of Friends and Stephen Baldwin. Not only motorcycle enthusiasts, but also, well, you're having a good time here today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, what the latest project, Stephen?
A couple of feature films, one titled One Tough Cop, produced by Marty Bregman, and with myself and Chris Penn and Gina Gershon, another picture called Scarred City, with myself and Chaz Palminteri.
Matt, you've got something going too. It's opening up pretty soon.
Yeah, I did a film for New Line this past summer called Lost in Space, a remake of the old series with William Hurt and Gary Oldman. Big science fiction action. It was a lot of fun, and now we're just, plugging along on Friends. This is a great season this year, and the writing is just maintained, and it's just been really, really fun.
Now, I know both you guys ride, but what actually brought you out to watch Supercross tonight?
I think we came down to support our boy, Jeremy.
McGrath!
Can't plug McGrath enough. He's the man.
He's the Elvis of motocross.
Well, congratulations on your latest projects. Good luck with them, and thanks for dropping by the booth.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. While we were away, Jimmy Button, Ryan Hughes just barely made it into the main event, edging out the East 125 champion of last year, Tim Ferry, for the final spot. The roster of 20 riders now complete for the 250 main. Out on the track, number 111, Jeff Matasevich, is the parade lap just continuing for the 125 main event. Usually we say for the future superstars of the sport, this guy, he was a two-time 125 champion, David Bailey.
No, he's future and past.
Also winning at Las Vegas in the 250 Supercross. Went over to Japan and is now back competing. As we take a look at the Suzuki point standings, how they finished up last year in the West. Kevin Windham, of course, has moved on to the 250 ranks. Robbie Raynard, Casey Johnson, Villeman, and Casey Lytle. And a good friend of ours is down there at the gate once again giving advice. Let's go to Marty Reed.
Yeah, that guy giving advice is Skip Norfolk, but the guy we're talking about is Sean Palmer. He is a 4-time world snowboarding champion. He's an X Games champion. He's going to be competing in the Winter X Games this weekend on ESPN2. And listen to this. He had a bet with Mitch Payton, who is the head man at Pro Circuit Racing. He said, hey, Mitch, if I make the main event, you got to give me semi-trailer support for the rest of the season. Guess what, guys? He made the main event. Mitch Payton says, you got the support.
We take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. Michael Brandes, very impressive. Who will get the whole shot money?
John Dowd, Ron Cotta, Huffman. There's going to be a lot of talent up in there. And going back to Sean Palmer, he also won the downhill, beating John Tomac, all those guys that have been in there established. This guy is the jack of all trades tonight.
David Pingree also at the gate, getting ready. Shaking it off, Jason McCormick.
Another look at Palmer right there, 224. That's the number Lachine carried his first year as a professional.
Revving up and we're ready to go. On the inside, Ryan Huffman. Number 28, Ryan Huffman, the leader, with John Dowd in good position in second place. Dowdy comes on strong late. He's also a good mudder. Number 29, David Pingree in third. Pingree, real good start for his first main event under the FMF flag.
And a mid-pack start for number 111, Matasevich. He's got plenty of time to work his way to the front, but he's got a long ways to go.
Brian Deegan has moved into fifth spot now, and our leader continues to rev it up. Quite a story, Ryan Huffman out of Roseburg, Oregon on the Primal Suzuki. And of course, this year, Team Suzuki has a support 125 team in Primal Suzuki.
Moving into third, Brandes. Around Pingree.
Brandes from Team Stiffy, the clothing firm.
Brandes looked good in his preliminary qualifier. Looked good in his heat race.
He had a fourth place finish in Phoenix last year. And then came up with a fistfight affair in Los Angeles.
Well, that's all behind him now, and he's got to look at the leaders.
John Dowd starting to pick up some space now on the young Ryan Huffman. A 250 privateer last year. Won a semifinal, won an LCQ, mostly made the mains with second and thirds in the semifinal round. Oh, we're getting close now. John Dowd coming up on the back tire. And right there is number 32, Jason McCormick. McCormick battling it out with David Pingree.
Gets the edge. These guys are starting to lose a little time to the leader. Dowd goes for the pass.
Dowd making the pass at the finish line.
Brian Berry happy about that. Dowd jumped up over that camel hump. Took a little chance. It wasn't pretty, but it worked.
This is the battle for third.
McCormick starting to get a little lead now on his teammate. He can see the leaders in front of him starting to get away. He wants to get up there and join that group. If he doesn't get up there now, Dowd will be gone.
McCormick out of Vancouver, Washington, a persistent privateer who finally got a break with a ride from an independent team.
And McCormick knows that if he doesn't beat Dowd, it doesn't really matter. It's second place to Dowd right here would be as good as a win, but to get up there and beat him, certainly give him some confidence and shove everybody back in the point.
Here comes Ryan Huffman back on the triple. He regains the lead away from John Dowd. This is going to be a bar-to-bar battle, I have a feeling, the entire rest of the race.
Well, he made a statement there by going for the triple. There hasn't been many 125s going for it.
Dowdy winning the Eastern opener in Indianapolis of 125 action last year. Let's go down to Marty.
Yeah, we're down here with Brian Berry. He's watching his rider. Was that triple and double, the fact that your man took a double, is that the difference when one guy's going for Western points and the other guy's using it as a tune-up?
John's racing the West Coast this year, so they're both here. They're both racing the West. This is for the lead.
Hey, guys, we just learned something because the score sheet said that he was going to run Eastern, but now we just heard that Brian's running with his man.
Absolutely. That's a big surprise to me. But John Dowd right now, he's racing for points. John Dowd up the peristyle, starting to pull the lead then on number 28, Ryan Huffman. So good information, Marty. Thanks for grabbing that out.
Don't know how I missed it, but this is important.
Dowd, Huffman, McCormick, Pingree, and Roncada now moves into 5th place.
Now this time the difference is heading into the triple. We'll be anxious to see if he does it. Even if he doesn't, though, he's got a good enough lead over Huffman. Yeah, he just goes for the double. There goes Huffman over the triple. You can believe it. Dowd can hear that crowd erupt when Huffman makes it, so he knows he's got to have a little lead there if he's not going to go for it to hang on to the lead.
Our Suzuki Field summary just popped up on the screen, but now Roncada has passed Pingree. Moving into 4th place in this 125 main event, the first of the year for the Western region. Well, can we hold their positions as Dowd leads Huffman, McCormick, Roncada, and Pingree? We'll find out when we come back. Skip Norfolk giving more advice. Let's go to Marty.
Well, we don't know exactly what's wrong. The bike has been shut off, and they're having a conversation. Obviously, he's out of the race. The goggles are off. Something's not running quite well for Sean Palmer.
Here's the battle. Roncada makes the move. Ryan Huffman edges back out in front. It's bar to bar in 125 West Coast action. Roncada making the move on Huffman.
That got a little tight, jumping down the peristyle there. Their lines came together just a little bit. They got close. Roncada held the inside line, though, and now nobody between him and Dowd.
John Dowd with a 10-second lead. Can Roncada, though, pick up that much time? Brandis and Huffman going at it for 3rd as we take a look at Dowd coming out of the peristyle U-shaped curve. Brian Berry going back to the board. Look at here. It is Brandis and Huffman. Huffman with the edge, number 28, but Brandis comes back as they bang bars. Number 25 and 28 in the horseshoe coming down the peristyle.
Looked like Brandis was just going to swoop right around him on the outside.
It did, didn't it?
Huffman just drifted out there a little bit, cut the line off. There's Dowd as he exits this corner. You should see Roncada. Yep, just going the other way. Just could see his helmet going by. He is getting closer. He's got him in his sights on this straightaway. That gives you inspiration when you know you've got enough time left and you can see the guy. Oh, another mistake by Dowd.
John Dowd looks like he's out of rhythm. Let's take a look now at the Honda stopwatch and see how the times are with John Dowd to our 2nd place rider, Roncada, 5.1.
Well, he's cutting it down. He took another second off that lap. My calculations are correct. You're going to see a huge differential back to 3rd, which is now Brandis. 16 seconds. Huffman going by, McCormick, a lapped rider, and then Pingree.
That was Justin Nelson from El Cajon, California. It's down Roncada, Brandis, Huffman, and McCormick. An impressive lineup here in the first round of West Coast 125 action.
Big sweeper before the mechanics area. I love that corner.
5 laps to go on Brian Berry's board.
Plenty of time. If Dowd keeps making little mistakes like this, it's plenty of time for Roncada.
Proud. He's got an element of toughness, though, Dowd does.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be one thing to catch a guy. I've done it plenty of times. You catch a guy and you're thinking, okay, he's mine. And you get there, and all of a sudden the guy turns it up a notch, starts fighting you. You can't get by. That could be the case. Dowd is not easy to pass. Like I said, he's fit. He's got the energy to put up a fight. Minute 18. These are the same lap times the 250s were running in the heat races. So these guys are they're going all out right now.
John Dowd, of course, we mentioned before, the oldest rider in the field. Back in the 125s, he had very little action, very little experience really on the 125s because he started racing late and he started really running 250s. But Yamaha had the spot open, and they needed him to ride 125s, and John Dowd's just that kind of character. Here's the Suzuki Field summary now. Dowd, Roncada, Brandis, Huffman, and McCormick. A lot of youngsters there looking to make their mark in back of John Dowd.
Dowd once again entering that big sweeper to the mechanics area, just going for the double.
Huffman and McCormick are going at it right now before the finish line jump. Number 28 is Huffman. McCormick, his best friend, is right behind him. Meanwhile, Dowd and Roncada are pulling away in first and second.
And Dowd has responded. Roncada was shaving out about 2 seconds a lap, and Dowd has just picked it up. It's actually opened that gap up. Looks like maybe 12 seconds or so.
You're pretty close with your estimate. We got a 10-second count there, David Bailey. That's pretty good all the way across the Coliseum.
I've guessed at this a couple, 2-3 times. Look at the view as they jump back into the stadium.
This is Jason McCormick out of Vancouver, Washington. The white flag is out. One more lap for John Dowd.
All the photographers lined up there in that finish line jump. I don't think Dowd's going to throw his bike the way Deegan did.
By the way, Nathan Ramsey, for you fans that follow him, he's gone from 15th to 7th place. He might be a factor in this West Coast 125 region season coming up.
Hey, he's certainly picked up
Michael
pace.
Brandis, number 25 in third.
Brandis looks good. Completely different rider, in my opinion, from last year. A new team, new outfit, new attitude. Looked good in his heat race earlier. Third in the mains, not too bad to start the season. A little bit better start. Things may have been a lot different.
What's been impressive behind John Dowd is just the way the youngsters have battled it out and are trying to take advantage of the opportunity here with few veterans in the Western region.
Not far to go. A few lappers in his way right now for Dowd before the finish line, but he's got enough lead. He doesn't have to worry about it.
With Kevin Windham leaving the West Division, we were anxiously awaiting who it might be. The guy who takes the crown this year, and John Dowd is off to a great start, taking the checkered flag. John Dowd, Stefan Roncada looks like in second place. Number 18, with Brandis in third on the podium. To the podium and the 1998's first 125 Supercross winner after these words. We're back at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed. You see here the official finish of the 125 main event, the first of the year. John Dowd victorious, Stefan Roncada, Michael Brandis, Ryan Huffman, Jason McCormick, and as we look through 6 through 10, we're ready to go down to Davey Coombs on that winner's platform. And I guess, Davey, what I'm curious about up here is with the late notice and not on AMA rosters for John Dowd being in the West region, is this an attempt to avoid Ricky Carmichael, so strong in that East? Down to you, Davey.
Well, that's what I was about to ask him. John, first of all, what are you doing here? We are expecting you to be on the East Coast.
Yeah, well, I guess I was probably expecting that too a little while back, but I guess, you know, the way Yamaha wanted to set up their team this year, they decided to cover the West Coast because that's where most of their corporate people and stuff go. So I guess, I mean, you know, so that's what they tell me. But yeah,
well, we were thinking it might have been either the weather, the fact you guys showed up here and saw it raining, or possibly that kid Ricky Carmichael back in the East.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that might have something to do with it, but I don't know. I think either way, you know, the racing's gonna be good, and you know, there's a bunch of guys on this side too, and for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm happy to be out here racing.
Well, you put on a really solid performance. You've always known that you were a good wet weather rider. You showed you're a good Supercross rider in the wet weather as well tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I love riding the mud and outdoor races and stuff, but I've never really liked it too much in Supercross. But I was a little nervous coming into tonight, but I think you know, I'd like to thank Yamaha and Bridgestone for putting together a good combination here. The bike worked excellent, and I couldn't have done it without them guys and my mechanic Brian. And I'd also like to thank Fox, Arai Helmets, Scott Goggles, and Gary Semix for helping me train, because I felt pretty strong for the whole thing. And I guess, you know, that's probably most of the reason, is I was strong enough to hold on the whole way.
All right, John. Well, listen, congratulations on your first win here in Los Angeles, a first big step toward the first pro title of a long and great career.
Thanks a lot. Hope there's more to come.
Thanks, Davey. As we take a look at the Suzuki point standings on our way to Houston for round number 2. John Dowd with that 3-point edge. Looked like conditioning to me won out in that particular race. The 125 celebration continues on the podium here in Los Angeles. It's the 250s, the essence of finesse and power, coming up next from the Coliseum. 61,855 Supercross fans here at the Los Angeles Coliseum tonight for round number 1 of our AMA series. Art Ekman, David Bailey up top in the press box area. And David, while many of us had eyes on McGrath and Emig during the heat racing, several young names popped up. Opportunistic young people who want to get a victory here tonight and looked very good in the heat racing.
Right, and we're talking, I think, about Pichon, Lusk, and Kevin Windham. Now, I'm not so surprised by Lusk's success because he won a couple of races last year in Supercross and his recent success in Japan. But Windham surprised me a little bit with the way he rode. I mean, I know he's got the potential to ride well, of course, with his win in Charlotte. But man, he's there and he's on pace. But on the other hand, Pichon in the other heat race, he didn't look like he was going that fast. But his heat race total time was only 1 second slower, so he's there.
It's been a windy, cool evening here in Los Angeles after lots of rain yesterday, and so the track has been progressively changing. Let's go down to Marty Reed down at the gate now and recheck the conditions there.
Well, the best thing I can tell you is give you an indication just how good the track is really coming in for this 250 main. In the heat race, most of the guys were going with the solid rotors to keep the mud from clogging it up. Well, we checked just about everybody, including Jeff Emig, Jeremy McGrath, all the big players. Everybody is going to the slotted rotor, so they're not worried about it getting clogged up.
That's a good sign, isn't it, when the mechanics are busy with that type of activity? Good catch, Marty.
Yeah, it's looking good. It looks good everywhere but on the racetrack. You can see back in the everywhere off the racetrack, it's still pretty soupy. Good look at Emig coming down the peristyle, checking things out.
Here's how they ended up in 1997 as we take a look at the Suzuki point standings. Jeff Emig winning by that margin over Jeremy McGrath. A lot of people said, hey, Jeremy McGrath, he says he had his worst season ever. It's true, but he had a great season under normal standards. Ezra Lusk, of course, in third, with Ward the top independent team rider. And Albertine, of course, rounding out that top 5 as we take a look at the starting grid. Lots of great names there. Mike Brown back in America. Lance Smale on a 2-stroke qualified. And we've got quite a foreign contingent at the starting gate as well. And our prediction came true, David Bailey. We've got 10 riders on the gate who have won Supercross races before. The foreign invasion: Greg Albertine of South Africa, Stefan Roncada from France, Mikel Pichon from France, Sebastian Tortelli from France, and we have a Japanese rider, Koiketa, and Bollet from France.
Ready! There's only one thing left to say. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
The unforgettable phrase by Mr. Buffer. It's great to have him. The 30-second board is up, and we are set for round number 1.
Jeremy McGrath with the new helmet paint job has "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" on the left side of his mouth guard. There's a good look at Emig. You see the tear-offs up there.
What's always interesting about the first round of the year, all the new number changes, and now we're just about set to go. Who will win the $1,500 whole shot award? Sticking the nose out there is number 19, Doug Henry. Henry with
McGrath
and McGrath. McGrath going into second place as they go through the timing section before the finish line jump. So it's Henry, McGrath, Emig.
Albertine right there, last year's winner, followed by Windham. All in good position, but Henry starting to pull away a little bit now.
Henry in first place, taking advantage, but Jeremy McGrath in great position. Emig in a battle with Albertine. Albertine went bar to bar and then slips back. Here comes Albie. Number 7 had a tough time there at the end of the whoops.
Great start. I worried me seeing Jeremy get the whole shot, go into that corner with everybody right up his fender. Almost looked like last year they're going to get up there and the way he and Lamson got together, but he got out of there clean.
Wyndham in 6th place, David.
He's in pretty good position. There's going to be the fitness is going to play a part. Lapped riders towards the end.
Here comes Jeremy. The crowd anticipating, getting excited. Doug Henry on the 4-stroke Yamaha with McGrath in 2nd, Hemming in 3rd, Albie in 4th. Damon Huffman in 5th and Wyndham in 6th. There's Albie right on the back tire of Hemming.
This is just unbelievable. That a great start. I would expect that 4-stroke to hook up and get a great start. He did, and wouldn't it be something if Henry picked up where he left off at the end of last year, winning again on that 4-stroke.
Unbelievable. Doug Henry, our leader here in the early going of our round number 1 from the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Pete Steinbrecher, a shot of him there was keeping his fingers crossed. Jeremy almost.
Here comes McGrath. McGrath in the whoops. They bang a little bar, and Henry regains the lead. You know, Henry told us before it's a good feeling to go into the season knowing he's going to be totally dedicated to the 4-stroke.
I feel a lot better than last year having to ride 2 different bikes. This year I've spent, you know, ever since actually Houston was the last time I rode a 2-stroke or a 250. So ever since then I've been pretty much just riding 4-strokes and getting used to that. And this year I feel more comfortable probably than I did any other year.
Pachon has moved up to 7th as we look back at the pack now. There you see Emig, last year's defending champion, last year's winner Albertine, as they flip through the screen.
Terrible start for Lusk. There you see Tortelli going by. You know, the way it looks to me, Art, Doug Henry can click off these laps all night long. Jeremy is going to have to find a way around. He is going to have to go out and find a new line, pick up the pace, and make the pass.
What an incredible start to our round number 1 here at Los Angeles. We'll be back with the action in a moment. Welcome back to the Coliseum. The action hot and heavy. Doug Henry still holding on the lead. He's not the kind of rider to crack, but can he hold off Jeremy McGrath, hungry for another championship?
Well, he certainly has proven it before. He can hold him off. He won here last year at round 2.
And Emig is picking up behind Jeremy McGrath, so we're going to get a logjam pretty soon. It'll be very, very interesting.
Well, what's going to happen, I think, what's happening right now is Doug made a bobble. Jeremy sees the opportunity to get in and apply the pressure, as Jeremy's feeling it right now from Emig. So they're tightening the screws. We're going to have a really close battle here in a minute.
One advantage of being out in front, especially with that 4-stroke, is being able to take the line you want.
The roost coming off that thing, I bet you doesn't feel too good either, and Jeremy's right in it.
Emig, 4 seconds behind the leader. In 3rd place as Jeremy McGrath gets a little dirt on the boot as he turned the corner going up the scope.
The advantage that Doug's got right now is that 4-stroke has got great power. It hits in different spots, and it throws a good roost. And because of the conditions of the track, as Marty talked about, it's dried out in the best line. Doug's in the best line. So for Jeremy to go and find a way around, it's going to be tough, and he's going to have to just stay as close as possible and force Doug into a mistake.
Henry, McGrath, Emig, Albertine, and Wyndham, our Suzuki field summary. And still, McGrath just knocking on the door. Jeremy McGrath, he knows how to win first rounds. He's won a Supercross record 3 first rounds in his career. No one else has done that.
He's in great position to make it 4.
Albie still in 4th behind Emig. Emig now pulling up. He's getting closer, within 2 seconds of the leader.
He may consider earplugs.
Oh, Jeremy bobbles coming off the finish line jump. Jeff Emig now battling it out for 2nd place. The Kawasaki rider now goes into 2nd, but here comes Jeremy. Jeremy with not quite the power, taking the short turn.
Slick move. He went out there knowing that Jeff had the best line, tried to square it off, but it's pretty muddy out there. He got a little sideways, couldn't quite get him back.
Damon Huffman is starting to move up on Albie.
A little bit of a gift there for Emig, but he was close enough to take advantage. That's
Boy,
the name
one
of the
little
game.
mistake this year.
Keep the pressure on, stay close, make your own luck. Emig was there to take advantage.
You know, everybody was wondering, hey, we've got Kudrowski retiring, we got Bradshaw retiring, we got Swink retiring. It doesn't matter.
No, there's plenty of talent still out there. And as fast as these guys are going, Albertine is right there. He's actually starting to apply the pressure to Jeremy.
Let's check in with Marty Reed.
Yeah, down here with Pete Steinbrecher. Pete, we talked about the engine brake earlier in the heat race. It doesn't seem to be a problem here, that's for sure.
No, you know what, a little bit earlier when we were practicing, it's real slippery. And when we talk about the engine brake, you back off the throttle, and if it's real slick, it's just like putting the back brake on, so it's very hard to keep it straight. And the track's pretty tacky, so then now if you back off the throttle, the back end doesn't slide around, it just kind of brakes in a straight line.
Well, that's the technical side. The easy side is your man's out in front and he's pulling away.
Well, he's got a lot of work cut out for him because he's got a lot of great riders behind him.
Hey guys, to put a period on this, remember one thing, that is now a production bike. It's about 3 to 5 pounds heavier than the factory works model that they used last year.
Henry out in front, Emig in second. McGrath and Albie going at it right there. Albie number 7, I should say, and McGrath number 2. Albertine comes up on the back rubber momentarily for McGrath as they start around the corner, the sweeper.
Just behind these guys, Huffman, number 15, close enough. You can see him just behind Albertine right there. Huffman, notorious for those late race charges. Doesn't use a lot of energy when he rides. Fitness isn't that big of a deal. The kid's so smooth and sneaky. Oh! A horrible crash right before the finish line. You can see at the top of your screen there. Albertine got out of shape.
Albertine, number 7 getting up, and number 15, Damon Huffman getting up.
Albertine he tried to jump up that step, got out of control, and...
We got a three-way battle for the lead right now. Here's Henry going up the peristyle. It's Emig and McGrath. Boy, coming through those whoops. They were just very close to one another. Maybe a second and a half dividing the top 3. Number 19 on the 4-stroke. Can he make it? 2 wins in a row after creating history in Las Vegas with the first 4-stroke victory in the history of Supercross.
Yeah, I'm thinking that these 3 guys have got to be... I've got to be thinking that somewhere in there they're having a little bit of fun right now. It's got to be pretty fun for Henry to be out there leading on the 4-stroke. Emig is looking a lot better than he did in his heat race, and Jeremy, this is a much better finish and a result. At least it's looking like it'll turn into one than last year.
With
they're
these
all
3,
on the podium.
Henry, Emig, and McGrath out in front. Pashon, Wyndham, and Laraco, the next 3.
It's great to be in these battles. You got number 1 and 2 right there together in a 4-stroke. They're going, man, we're going to need earplugs if this continues. Steinbrecher looking on. He knows. He's right. He's got a lot of work to do. One mistake.
He's gritting his teeth.
He can drop him 1st to 5th.
Nice triple move by McGrath. Pashon moving up behind McGrath. McGrath trying to challenge Emig now for 2nd place. Number 2 versus number 1. McGrath doesn't like that number 2 plate. He's the sport's winningest rider.
And look who just joined the party. Number 16, Pashon, the winner of the 2nd heat race.
Boy, Pashon is really impressive. He doesn't look like he's working that hard either, going that fast.
He doesn't. Too bad for Albie and Damon Huffman. Huffman was just following him, had nowhere to go.
I kind of have the feeling anything can happen. We'll find out after we get back from these words from our sponsors. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Art Ekman and David Bailey up top. Marty Reed down on the stadium floor. Davey Coombs covering the interviews for us on the winner's podium. Who will be the winner of this race right now? Pashon, number 16 of Team Suzuki, is hounding the Chaparral Yamaha of Jeremy McGrath as they come across the finish line jump. One more lap clicks off.
This is a career race right now for Pashon. First time on a 250 to be up like this, challenging for the lead, the season opener.
Especially, right, he's going right through the area that last year he broke his leg in a disaster of crash. It was awful. It was one of those things you hope they don't replay.
Well, I don't want to see it again. I don't think he does, and he's put it behind him. He's riding fantastic right now.
You know, Henry smoothed things out. He's looking pretty confident. He's got a 2-second lead on Emig.
You know, the longer you can hold those guys back there, the less they start to bother you. You get a guy right back there the whole time, you know if you just make a mistake, he can get by. And you start to ride a little nervous and defensive, but like you said, Henry has opened up a little bit of a lead now, and that'll help him relax. Take some lines he wants to take.
The battle for third, Pichon starting to test the inside of Jeremy McGrath every now and then, showing him a little wheel or two.
Well, Jeremy knows if he occupies the best line, doesn't make any mistakes, Pichon's going to have to do something pretty heroic to get his way around.
As Henry crosses the finish line, we've reached the halfway mark. Anything can still happen, believe me. Emig in second place, and look at that! Oh my goodness, Pichon leaps by Jeremy McGrath. Lusk has moved from 16th up to 10th after that horrendous start. So our new leader, or I should say the new lineup, is Henry, Emig, Pichon, McGrath, Windham, and LaRocco.
The former 125 title holders, Pichon, and looking back to Kevin Windham now, number 8. Not that far out of this. Both these guys moving up into the 250, knocking on the door for a win.
Jeremy McGrath, he's got a new mechanic this year, Randy Lawrence, and Randy Lawrence is a great conditioner himself, a great athlete, but they're great friends, and it's one of those things. There you see Randy Lawrence there, making out the board before Jeremy comes by. They are great friends, as I mentioned, and have wonderful respect for one another.
Couldn't quite see what he had on there, but Randy Lawrence is one talented character. Good at everything. Great to have those guys paired up.
Let's go down to Marty. Excuse me, David. Marty.
Well, what he had on the board was breed, but what was stunning to all of us is that Mikel Pichon passed your guy, put him back to 4th.
And look at this.
Yeah, we're just we did a lot of testing over the couple months that he's been on the Yamaha, and got the bike really set up good for riding the hard courses and things like that. And we come here and then it starts raining. He hasn't really had much time on the bike in any muddy situations. So we're just trying to ride smart tonight and not do anything stupid and lose out on any big points.
Okay, guys, that's the side down here.
That's good strategy after the way it started off last year. I mean, if he could have just had a better result here last year, he could have won the title. So it's smart. If it's somebody's going a little bit faster and pushing him out of his comfort zone, well, let him get by. Maybe learn a little, might be able to get him back.
Henry has now moved out to a 3.5-second lead. The closest battle right now is for second place. Pichon is picking up things on Jeff Emig, the defending champion, trying to hold off the Frenchman who lives near Le Mans.
Emig will find himself riding defensive here in a minute. He knows how to do it. He's going to have to, but like I pointed out in the heat race, Pichon, a lot like Jean-Michel Bale, he'll find his way around. I can't believe he found his way around Jeremy where he did. Right in this section right here, coming up the finish line jump. Squared that corner. Made a pass. He can definitely get around Emig. These guys haven't ridden together very much. Emig doesn't know what to do to hold Pichon back.
Through the whoops, Pichon has that wheel high as he goes in, trying to pick up time, and we got a crash now.
Off the triple right before the whoops.
Is that Lusk?
Kevin Windham and Lusk got together. Lusk went down hard. You can see his clutch lever bent all the way down. His visor's bent down in front of his face.
Oh, tough break for Team Honda's Ezra Lusk, who looks so strong in the heat race.
I was just about to say, he's made an incredible charge from way back in the pack, was challenging Windham. The leaders aren't that far in front of Windham. Lusk was there and went down hard.
Do you think it was of great value to have Pichon having to qualify today and got extra laps in on this track?
Well, it certainly didn't hurt from the looks of things now. Sometimes you get a little bit more time on the racetrack. Oh, Pichon goes down. Took an outside line trying to get around Jeff Emig. Stuck the front wheel right into that second jump.
And he's got a long way to come back. You make one mistake these days, and it is a long road to come back. Here is our leader, number 19 on the 4-stroke, Doug Henry. Let's start this Honda stopwatch and try to get an interval between first and second at least. Yes, 2.7 seconds on Emig in second. There goes McGrath in third. Number 103, Tortelli, he has come from a long way back. 16 is Pichon. Here's Windham, number 8. 7 laps to go. Our first big main event of the year.
Larry Ward, Craig, Albertine, LaRocco on the Honda coming through. You can see the strategy's really starting to pay off. Jeremy just trying to be smart. He let Pichon get around. I don't think he let him get around, but he was forced to let Pichon get around, and by playing it smart, Pichon went down, and now Jeremy's right back in the hunt. He's starting to knock on the door of Jeff Emig.
A great race out in front by Doug Henry. And what goes through your mind, David? You've been in this situation so many times in the past, in your championship years especially, when you know you've got that crop of great riders in back of you, and yet you're still pulling a little bit of a lead.
Well, you love it and you hate it. You just want that white flag to come out and have the race be over, because that pressure, it just builds and builds and builds. You know that you've got to do everything perfect, but when you do it, it's so gratifying. There's your lap time, minute 17. A second faster than John Dowd, and not even quite a full second. That tells you how fast Dowd was going in the 125 class.
Oh, the ruts are getting deep. One little mistake on the ruts, and you can drop 5 positions the way things are happening now.
I like the way Wyndham got around that corner as he went around that berm, getting into the whoop-de-doos. He rode the front wheel real high around the berm. Uh-oh, Craig going off the racetrack. Wyndham rode that front wheel real high around the berm. That lets the engine cases and the foot pegs and everything get a little bit higher up out of the ground. Doesn't drag through that rut, so you don't build up mud in there.
During that action, David, Tortelli, who won the warm-up race at Paris, California last week, passed McGrath for 3rd. As we take a look at Kevin Wyndham and 2 Team Suzuki riders. Larry Ward, number 4, is in 7th place. Albertine in 8th. Now, Tortelli's the fastest bike on the track. He's picking up on Emig, and Emig is picking up on Henry. We might have a battle going here. If you can't find Henry, just listen, I guess.
Henry over the finish line again. Opportunities are becoming less and less.
On that last lap, Emig picked up a 2nd on Henry.
Emig knows he's better do something now or it's going to be too late. He's close. He's definitely gotten rid of McGrath. McGrath made a huge mistake a lap ago. Hasn't been able to get it back.
Oh, we got a great race. Henry, number 18, comes off the peristyle. Tortelli, Emig right there battling, but Tortelli to the inside. Tortelli now moves into 2nd place. Oh, this is unbelievable. And he's within striking distance of Henry. Tortelli ended up the opening lap going from 15th to 12th place. He has steadily picked off rider by rider. He had some great times in qualifying, and right now he's in a position to win this race. Should Henry make a mistake? Oh, Tortelli shows the wheel to the inside. We mentioned good qualifying times. He did crash in his qualifying heat, but came back in the semifinal to win it with a spectacular time. And you know, David, when you talked earlier about Euros being good in the mud, we had that discussion before the race started. They don't have any domes over there. They've got to run in the mud. And it's pretty sticky mud out there right now on the Los Angeles Coliseum floor. Tortelli is in the United States to race the first 7 races of the Supercross season for Team Kawasaki. Then he has to take care of a commitment on the GP circuit. You think if he wins a couple of races, you think he'll go back?
I don't know. I'd much rather win a U.S. Supercross title than a GP.
So would Tortelli.
He's had some success over there already. If you get a good run over here and get that ball rolling, keep going.
Henry, Tortelli, Emig, McGrath, Pichon, and Wyndham is our order. And Tortelli trying to make a move. Henry using all the track he can, but right on the rear rubber is Tortelli.
Boy, he is fast, too. It looks like he's just being held up. Looks like Tortelli is just waiting for the right time to work his way around. They're going to be coming up to the white flag.
Here comes Tortelli and the white flag coming up as he comes around to the finish line jump. The white flag is waving for the Frenchman.
Oh, and Henry goes down just after the finish. Henry leaned too far to the inside, lost his balance in that deep rut. That's how fast it can change. Only a lap to go. That thing is not easy to start.
That's one thing about the 4-stroke. Pete Steinbrecher. Boy, The heart just jumped out of his chest when he saw that. And still, you see how difficult it is to get it restarted and get it going. But Henry somehow has done it.
No, I don't believe what I just saw. Henry leading this thing. Still about 100 yards from the last lap. What a great ride for Tortelli. I'm going to have to apologize to this guy for not noticing what a great ride coming from behind, passing all the country's best, the world's best. He's making a statement here tonight. Number 1 and number 2, shocked probably. Now, where the heck did he come from? This guy, number 103. Here comes the checkered flag.
The checkered flag for Sebastian Tortelli. Oh, my goodness, I don't know how you sing in French. I believe in miracles, but this has just happened for Sebastian Tortelli. We told you to expect the unexpected, really. But even I did not believe that the Frenchman, Sebastian Tortelli, could pull this one off in the first round from Los Angeles Coliseum. We'll be back with some interesting comments, I'm sure, by the competitors after this from Los Angeles. Models. Well, we mentioned about the foreign invasion prior, but little of us believe that, few of us believe that number 103, Sebastian Tortelli, over here to warm up for his GP season in Europe, would capture the first round at the Los Angeles Coliseum, followed by Jeff Emig and Jeremy McGrath, former champions. Another Frenchman, Mikel Pichon. If he hadn't gone down, he might have been up front. Kevin Windham making his way into the top 5. And as we look at 6 through 10, I'm sure Davey Coombs over on the winner's podium is making his way over there. Tortelli, Emig, McGrath, in that order, will be on the podium, Davey.
Sebastian, what was going through your mind? You didn't know you won?
I just, I have a bad start, and I was trying to catching hard every rider I could, and my mechanic Craig, he told me, second, and I was thinking I finished second after I passed Doug. So, I mean, I'm so surprised and so happy about it.
You've now accomplished something that not even your compatriot, Jean-Michel Bale, did. You've won the opening round of an AMA Supercross Series. This must do wonders for your confidence coming to America in 1999.
Oh, sure, I'm so happy to win today, and I was so surprised, about it.
Take a look now at the points, the top 5 as we go to Houston. This would be the order right here with Tortelli, the mere 3-point lead going into that very famous Houston Astrodome, which in itself was an opening round at one time, David.
Yes, it was. Boy, here's another look at what happened to Doug Henry. Got lean to that inside, front end washed out, went down.
Well, memories of such intense emotional action are magnified when achieved at the world's great arenas of sport, and we've experienced such a moment here tonight with Tortelli winning here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed saying thank you for being with us and joining us on